As for Seattle, I know you pegged them to win the division. They went into MetLife and got hit in the mouth. When you are going west to east, playing an early window game, that is a tough assignment. Certainly against a team that is coming off a bye, 3-8 or not, okay? It ain't easy. And the Jets offense showed up. Like in the first quarter, it's like, oh, okay, there it is. In the same way that it flashed in the first quarter against the San Francisco 49ers in week 1, marching down the field. They scored 14 points in the first quarter. 99 yards total offense. They even got a 2-point conversion right. After they missed an extra point. 8 first downs in the first quarter. Look at that. And then the wheels fell off. And the Seahawks defense showed up. Former Jet Leonard Williams. Did you see the big man with football touchdown?
Yeah, he was cooking.
92 yards for 99. Second longest touchdown in the history of the National Football League. All time. How about this stat? Second longest touchdown by a 300-pound player or heavier. All time. Mike Patterson at a 98-yarder. Fumble return for a touchdown. But it's the longest intercept, the longest pick six by a 300-pounder ever. It is the longest thick six big man with football touchdown ever.
Ever.
He's 6'5", 300, TJ.
I know.
And Geno Smith went 20 of 31 for 206 passing yards, including his 8th game-winning drive since the start of 2023. That's the most in the NFL in that span, breaking a tie with Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts. It's his 7th fourth-quarter comeback since 2023. That is the most in the National Football League. And the Seahawks have now reached 7 or more wins for the 15th straight season. Only the Steelers and the Saints have a longer active streak. The Saints will struggle to reach that mark. And they are in sole possession of first place in the West. Seahawks doing that.
All right.
And what, pray tell, if Geno Smith, quarterback, Leonard Williams, 300-pounder, have in common? Do you have any idea what they have in common?
I do, but I want you to tell us.
Well, they're former New York Jets.
Yeah.
Helping slam the nail in the coffin, potentially, of the Aaron Rodgers era in New York.
Me.
At least you got that sense of it, because Rodgers' offense, no points, 159 total yards, and 9 first downs after they had 8 first downs, 99 total yards, and 14 points in the first quarter. The offense just disappeared. And it's not like his BFF wasn't targeted. 12 targets for Adams, who scored. And Rodgers and Adams, who will share a bust gallery together one day, became the 6th quarterback wide receiver duo to reach 70 touchdowns. How about that?
Cool.
They need 2 more to pass Drew Brees and Marcus Colston.
Marcus Colston.
Yeah. So, listen, who, by the way, if I'm not mistaken, is one of Hofstra's finest, where the Jets used to train back in the day.
Shout out to
I bring it up because
he
that's just living in the past. And I couldn't believe this. After the game, interim head coach Jeff Ulbrich had this to say about Rodgers remaining the starter.
How would you assess Rodgers' performance today?
You know, I always want to go back and really watch the tape, and I got to watch the tape with Todd, because a lot of times he'll give me all the nuance and the intricacies within the game plan and the footwork and the timing and all that. So that'll be a better question for tomorrow.
Okay.
Interesting.
Oh.
So the Rodgers era in New York heralded back in the day as the ingredient missing for the Jets, to the point in the Hard Knocks season when Rodgers first arrived, and it was all peaches and cream, and Rodgers is going to the Tonys, and helicopters are landing in practice, and fans are chanting his name, and it's all great, right? Remember the scene in Hard Knocks where the defensive coordinator was showing film of Rodgers and all the throws he can make and all the offensive plays that were soon to come, and he would tell his defensive charges, hey, this is the offense that we're going to get in support. And it was all great. That guy's now the interim head coach of the Jets. Unable to give a straight-up answer as to whether Rodgers is going to remain the starter. Didn't see that one coming from when we saw the Jeff Ulbrich moment in Hard Knocks. Didn't see that as a scenario. Oh, and he needs to look at the tape with the, if you will, interim offensive coordinator, who none of the Jets fans thought would be in control of the Rodgers offense. Oh, and the interim head coach is not giving Rodgers the immediate green light to stay the gangrene quarterback because he's only won once since becoming the interim head coach. That's the scenario that's played out. And it really is just like mind-boggling. Oh, and the general manager's been fired too for the 3-9 Jets now. But snap cut to today. Do we get a different story? I guess the film session went well.
We have great belief in Aaron. We really do. And we think he gives us the best opportunity to win. After assessing yesterday's game, I thought there was moments in the first half where you saw Aaron Rodgers. I thought there was moments even in the second half where you saw Aaron Rodgers, and then there was moments that he didn't play to his standard, and he'd tell you the same. So we think he gives us, we believe that he gives us the best opportunity to win. So he's our quarterback.
Okay. So the film session went well. The interim head coach and the interim offensive coordinator are now having film sessions to evaluate Aaron Rodgers' viability as being a winning enough quarterback for a 3-9 team. That is the current state of the New York Jets and the Rodgers era. I cannot believe it. Oh, and that's how they're visiting Miami. Oh, and happy birthday, Aaron Rodgers. You're still the quarterback of the Jets. He's now 41 years of age today. And the Jets tweeting out an HBD to him. This was in advance of Ulbrich confirming that the interim head coach and the interim offensive coordinator went through the film session and determined there's enough there. Obviously I'm letting my smile and deep sarcasm be my umbrella here. But and you think Jets fans are nuts for thinking that they're cursed. Honestly. Like cliched platitudes from an interim head coach talking about best chance to win, fig leaf. We saw enough to believe in our future first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback who is not playing like it. And no one else is playing like it around him either. And the defense can't make enough plays on the Seahawks to make sure Geno Smith and Leonard Williams don't celebrate on their turf. At least I guess they didn't plant the flag there.
I mean, speaking of teams that should tank.
The Jets? All they got to do is keep playing. I mean, Chris, the spark that Woody Johnson thought Jeff Ulbrich could bring has provided one win.
Yeah, I know.
One single victory for the Jets. Okay? And it was against Houston, which is unbelievable. Just like last year when they beat the Texans going away last year. And it was just like, where did that come from with Zach Wilson? It's unbelievable. And I guess there's a game at Jacksonville. The rest of the way, I don't know how they're going to wind up. Let's give them that one.
I mean, they lose out.
They're going to wind up 4-13. And I don't know how you
good enough for number one.
Whatever.
I'm saying you wouldn't be in the Shador sweepstakes. Travis Hunter.
Whatever. I don't know who's going to come and who's going to coach and who's going to GM it. But at this point in time, the only relevance to talk about is if Rodgers has a 300-yard game, which he still has not had since his final days in Green Bay, after a mere 185 passing yards and a passer rating of 73. Last time he had 9 losses in a second straight season as a full-time starter. Obviously, he didn't have it last year, but the only time he had I guess he's going for this. 10 losses was in his first season as a full-time starter in 2008. What a disaster. The only thing I should say is this. It should just give the Jets more of a mental note that in 2037, when Jordan Love's looking for a new team, just come up with a different plan. Put that in a time capsule for whoever's in charge. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku Channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.